Our only hope today lies in our ability to recapture the revolutionary spirit.
We, the people of the United
17 million
States,
more Americans could now face hunger.
And go out into a sometimes hostile world, declaring eternal opposition to poverty, racism, and militarism. With this powerful commitment, we shall boldly challenge the status quo.
Free our political prisoners. The blueprint for a better America does three things. It's going to end poverty, end mass incarceration, and end the endless wars. And mass incarceration is really a moral stain on our nation. And so when we say political prisoners, it's easy to connect it to mass incarceration because that was and is a product of political rhetoric where candidates running for office said, I'm going to be the toughest on crime. I'm going to support 3 strikes. I'm going to support mandatory minimums. Joe Biden has been defending the 1994 crime bill recently. And politicians have a lot invested in mass incarceration because to acknowledge what they've done to so many families, that would make it pretty difficult to sleep at night, I think. That being said, there are other political prisoners that it's time for them to be released. And those 3 names are reality winner, Edward Snowden, and Julian Assange. When the Phoenix Congress opened in January of 2020, there was a 4th name on this list, and that was Chelsea Manning. Now, if you know these names, you'll recognize them all as being whistleblowers, people who have publicized classified information about what the United States government had been secretly doing. Now, demanding that these political prisoners be freed is not the same as saying they didn't do anything wrong. These men and women have had their freedom taken away for years. They have been punished. It's time to release these political prisoners. Reality Winner is currently incarcerated in Texas. She was arrested 3 years ago for mailing 1 sheet of paper containing classified information showing that Russia had tried to interfere in the 2016 election. And she mailed that to the press. There's no personal gain here. This was trying to make sure that the American people knew the truth about Russian interference in the election. It's been 3 years. She has been punished for her misdeed. It's time to let her go. She's imprisoned in Texas. COVID-19 has shown up in the penitentiary. She's asked for a compassionate release and has been denied. Free Reality Winner. She's a veteran. She spent 6 years in the Air Force. But as an NSA contractor, she knew that there were some secrets that shouldn't be kept from the American people. And so she acted. Free Reality Winner. The next name on this list is Edward Snowden, who is not incarcerated per se, but is living in exile. The United States has canceled his passport, so he can't go anywhere, and he's stuck in Russia. Just last month, got another 3-year extension to stay there, because, again, he can't go anywhere else. After all these years of exile, it's time to let Edward Snowden come in. And, he volunteered for the Army, for the Special Forces. He worked as an NSA contractor. When he learned about the ways that the government was spying on American citizens and lying about it to us and to Congress, that he had to act. He's got a great quote where he says, "I had been looking for leaders, but I realized that leadership is about being the first to act." So he acted. And as a result, his life has been turned upside down. He has been in exile for all these years. It's time to let him come home. Free Edward Snowden. Julian Assange, on the other hand, is not an American. He's an Australian citizen who, when facing extradition to the United States, took refuge in the Ecuadorian embassy in London. As the co-founder of WikiLeaks, he helped inform a lot of people, inform a lot of discussion and debate about policy in the United States. I mean, like the videos of, U.S. soldiers shooting reporters, wounding children, these were things that were being covered up. He published the files and documents that had been provided to him by Chelsea Manning. Like I said, Chelsea Manning was on this list. She served 7 years in prison for her participation in these WikiLeaks files. If she hadn't made this information available, we probably wouldn't have ever heard about it. It would have been buried. I'm glad she's out. Donald Trump has the ability to pardon Reality Winner. He has the ability to insist that the prosecution of Julian Assange be ended. He has the ability to order that Edward Snowden's passport be restored and end prosecution of him too. So they're all being prosecuted under the Espionage Act of 1917. And as you can probably guess, this dates back to World War I. This is a sort of an archaic law. But it sounds really serious. The Espionage Act. These people all have committed espionage. Have they? Let's go to the dictionary. What is espionage? 1. The act of spying. No, there's no spying here. 2 is the use of spies by a government to learn the military secrets of other nations. Well, no, these guys weren't employed by other nations to find U.S. military secrets. They are patriots who were willing to act. The last definition is the use of spies in industry or commerce to learn the secrets of other companies. None of these men and women committed espionage, and yet a 100-year-old law was dredged up to prosecute them. These men and women have paid for their actions with years of their lives. It's time to release the political prisoners and a lot more of our fellow Americans from behind bars. We can do better in the 21st century. Edward Snowden said one of the things that was the final straw for him was seeing the Director of National Intelligence lie to Congress under oath and say, "Oh, we're not collecting information on Americans." And he realized that he couldn't wait for other people to figure out that what was happening was wrong. And it was his duty to act. And so he did. I don't, part of my lifestyle of Gandhian simplicity, I wear almost exclusively plain colors, but I do have one shirt with Edward Snowden's picture on it, saying he was a patriot. So how many of us in 2020 are ready to be the ones who act? How many are ready to be the deciders in the upcoming election? If we do, when we unionize, when we unite, we can end poverty, end mass incarceration, and end the endless wars. We can do it together. We can be patriots, fulfilling our duty, like Edward Snowden, Reality Winner, and Chelsea Manning. I hope you're ready to act. You're joining the next Fast for Peace, that shared self-sacrifice that gives us the moral authority to negotiate a new social contract that looks out for all Americans. If you want to know more, make sure you hit the subscribe button. And until next time, I'm the Gandhi Guy. hashtag fast for peace, and just keep walking.